HearthStone, Death Knight Rising, game 23? Yeah? So normally we don't start on this screen, but we're going to do something a little special here. At least one video, I believe I've shown the quest page, so you can gain in-game rewards with which to improve your collection. So toward the top left there, the 1500 quest, play 3 games with some guy in your starting deck. Kind of a silly name, but you can call him the Eternal. It's a dragon. So just by putting him in the deck and playing a game with him, that gets you one notch closer to finishing that quest. So we'll finish that quest together, shall we? But there's a drawback to it, though. We'll go through it together. So go down to the bottom middle there, my collection. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to load. It's a dragon. I feel like there's a lot of dragons with not the best artwork in this game. You think that why should that be? I mean, dragons are pretty cool. I think it takes some skill to screw that up. But anyway, so here's the problem. If I want to put Nal's Dormu, that's even his real name, into the deck, then something's got to come out. So what comes out? That's a quandary in and of itself, because I like my deck the way it is. I don't want to take anything out. But for fun, I'll let you witness my thought process as I force myself to make the decision. So, as you probably know if you've played, and I've mentioned it, legendary cards such as the Lich King, which is my character, my Death Knight character. Legendary. Now let's get that off the screen. There's a lot of the card collection you don't need to look at, do you? It's not that important. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm screwing this up now. I should have entered in some gibberish just to get stuff off the screen. So that's what I'll do. If you're looking at the bottom there, put in a search that won't yield any results. So now you don't have stuff distracting you. There's the Lich King again. He's back. He's undead, so he can come back any number of times. Okay, so if I got to take one thing out of my deck to make room for this dragon guy, and we'll see what he does in a second. Something's got to come out. So unique guys, legendary guys, you can only have one. You can see by the star there. And then non-unique, such as my Bone Mare, which we saw last game, you can have 2 of that sort of guys. So rather than just have one of something that I can have 2 of and treat a non-unique card as though it's unique by putting 1 in, which seems kind of silly, the alternative is to scratch one of my legendaries to make room for this silly Nosdormu guy, just to complete a quest. How can I possibly justify taking the Lich King out? Always a crowd pleaser, just so cool. And you generate spells. As you know, if you've been watching my series, I do love me some Sylvanas in whatever form she takes. How can I bring myself to take her out? The Skeleton King, Knight. Skeleton Knight. Well, maybe he can be king someday. A knight can become a king, right? Someday. If the Lich King ever moves on, maybe the Skeleton Knight becomes Skeleton King. I don't know. There you go. World of Warcraft. There's some storyline for you. He's very cool. And the Black Knight, for similar reasons. Just very, very cool guys. You can read the effects if you want. It's not strictly important right now. I'm thinking of taking out Thasarian. He's the lowest casting cost of my legendary, so you'd think that if anything you want to keep the lower guy, right? Again, can't possibly take the Lich King out. That would be nuts. Thasarian is just a random collection of like syllables and sounds. It doesn't really mean anything that I know of. Whereas you get things like the Black Knight, the Skeleton Knight. You can picture what these things are. Sylvanas, you might think it's a variation on either silver, or maybe if you play Dungeons and Dragons, you might know of what is it? Is it Sylvanesti Elves from Dragonlance, the Dragonlance setting? So there's cool stuff in all these names. But what is Thessarian really? Just some random collection of still. I've talked myself into it. I'm taking them out. The only thing I might think to do, if you notice here, my dead scale knight, I don't know how, you got to look closely, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it might be difficult to see, but the border around my dead scale knight, I got one gold, like half it's gold and half it's not, because I have one gold edition dead scale knight, which of course has, if you've seen gold cards, you know they got cool animations and effects on the card instead of just a still picture. Like say that's a still, there's no movement. Gold edition, cool stuff. So I could take out either the gold or the non-gold. I don't want to do that. I'd rather have one of each. That's cool. One gold, one non-gold. And they are non-unique after all, so I don't want to treat them like they're unique. I've decided. Thessarian, I'll miss you, guy. He is very cool. He is very cool. But so what does this stupid dragon do that he needs to be made so special by the game? Well, I'm asking for some trouble here just by playing this guy while I record. If this is in both players' decks, so if my opponent happens to have this quest at this time, and he also puts this dragon in his deck, we only get 15 seconds to execute our turns, as opposed to, I think it's 30 seconds, is it? If you know, if it's not 30 seconds, write in the comments if you know how long is a standard turn. Is it 30 seconds? Is it less? So I assume the point of this is like you get your, it feels roughly, from my experience, like you're cutting the time in half that you have to decide. So that's not great for recording purposes, because sometimes I like to yammer. Sometimes I let my time run out while I talk. Sometimes I want to talk about what's going on. I don't not just speak and hear myself talk. I'm trying to make some cool commentary for the video. So in 15 seconds, well, it'll be novel. If my opponent's playing this guy too, and we get the 15-second turns, it'll be a unique video in my collection. So here we go. Okay, I gotta add him. Sorry. There he is. So now he's in the deck temporarily. Probably this might be the one time for the entire series we do this. So if if it does happen, if my opponent's playing Nozdormu, we'll have a weird 15-second turn game. And if we don't, it's not a loss, because this gives me a chance to just give you something different from the standard. There's my guy, go, let's fight. So hopefully you appreciate a little bit of intro yip yap. So now, what the heck am I going to say while I wait for the game to load, which can take a while? Maybe you've heard enough of my BS for the time being. Maybe we should both just enjoy a little bit of silence before the explosion of the game occurs. Okay, I was about to say silence sucks because you might think my video's locked up or the audio's screwed. Anyway, whatever. We're doing it.
Versus Malfurion.
I must protect the wild. All will serve me in death.
So I'm battling against a druid, which is always interesting as the Death Knight, because you probably can't get too much different, because the druid is all about, life and the wildness of nature, and I don't know if a druid would hate something more than a Death Knight. Now maybe a Death Knight's true antithesis is a paladin, but this is about as antagonistic as it gets. And I might keep my entire hand. I mean, the Bone Mare was the MVP of the previous turn, the previous game, if you watched the previous game. I mean, he's 7 to cost, but I've always enjoyed his work. Gotta leave him in there. And who doesn't like horsies, right? Who doesn't like a good horsey? If your favorite chess piece is not the knight, what's wrong with you? And besides, I've got things to cast 2, 3, 4. So Vanish the Accused with the ring to make her 1 cheaper. 6 minus 1 is 5. So just wait to see if the Bone Mare is very impactful. Again, I'm rooting for it. In case I haven't shown the Bone Mare enough, and you're like, so why do you care so much about this stupid thing? +4/+4 to a creature. And make them a blocker. And the Bone Mare is also 5/5. So even if you don't finish your opponent the way that I did finish my opponent last game, you're still setting yourself up for the long term. Oh my god. It is an early 3/2. I'll respond by getting volatile, as I haven't been shy about doing in the past. When he dies, deal 2 damage to random enemy. Cool picture, by the way. Versatile card. I didn't harp on it, but that's actually a spell that made that thing. So he didn't have to create a 3/2 Panther. If he had a lot of minions in play, he might have done the other choose one. Give your minions +1/+1. Might have been worth like a whole bunch of bonuses. So 5/5, he's given this guy taunt. Now he's really fierce. 5/5 taunt. But not to worry.
Death calls.
Never fear, the Black Knight is here to destroy taunts. It's always good to have a timely draw for that. And because I have the coin, it's not a problem that he's 4 to cast on turn 3. I can put him out turn 3.
None shall rise.
If you're like me, the audio-visual on the Black Knight simply never gets old.
Job's done.
He was one of my very first legendaries too. I don't know if I mentioned that. He might have been the first one I bought actually with in-game rewards, in-game currency. So this druid really doesn't want my Black Knight around, as he takes 4 points onto himself, attacking him personally. That's a big commitment. Okay, so I got 4 mana. Chill Fallen Baron is cool, but I can get for 4. I can get 2 things. And get another volatile skeleton. I can get back to being doubly volatile, which I'm never upset about. Existing one can get in there. Twice is nice. And then dual charge for the 1/1 spaz that can attack anything first turn.
Job's done.
That servant already attacked.
So I got card advantage, I've got life advantage, I got board control. A lot of things working for me right now. Now that doesn't really work for me. Back to this taunting business, eh? 3/5. So he doesn't attack for a lot on your turn if you have the Tar Creeper, but he's a pretty good blocker. Joke's on you though, sir. Because I do have someone who can rush.
A thirst beyond death.
Attack minions immediately.
It sings to me.
And then follow up with some volatile skeleton to get those last 2 points in. And I can live with my guy dying because when he dies, he deals damage to another enemy. Get in there. Oh, alas! My friend died. It is now just I. I'll take revenge. Moving right along. I remain. Card advantage, life advantage, board advantage. All things are going my way. What do you got to say about that, Druid? Got any response? Ooh. Gonna respond by animating some trees to come at my. Oh, there's one. Gonna make another one. 2 trees. All right, interesting. So what do? Do I use my remorseless winter to wipe his trees back out of existence? I could alternatively generate a couple of phantom militias. 2 for taunt with echo. I can make 2 of them. I can cast them twice. Repeatable. We've got the mana. Could put 2 of those guys out and just play the long game. I mean, they can team up to kill one of my guys. I don't know, what's better? Tell you what, how about Phantom Militia, because it leaves me enough mana to also create Chill Fallen Baron? No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? If I make 2 of these guys, I'm not leaving myself anything. Okay, pay attention to yourself, buddy. Come on, stop. I could just... No, I like the idea that now that he's got a Ray of Hope with these things, I just destroy it with Remorseless Witcher. Let's do it. Maybe not the best use of Remorseless Winter, but... Who knows, maybe he doesn't create any more small creatures, I don't know. Alright, so what do I think? I guess what I think is Sylvanas has to hold off until I've got 1 more of my guys dead. Tempted to go Marrow Manipulator because I can just start pumping my opponent with damage. Just be corpse swinging like a lunatic right now. Get 10 points straight to my opponent. I've talked myself... Have I talked myself into it? I think so. Well, that's a fun fact. I thought I wasn't going to be able to even choose this thing. Because that thing had stealth. That's why it was faded, right? I thought that I wasn't even going to be able to target it because it was stealth. That's weird. Because, I mean, I didn't specifically target this stealth guy, but she did. Kind of feel like she shouldn't have been allowed to hit him, right? Doesn't it seem like that? Doesn't it seem? None of her corpses... None of her corpses probably should have hit the stealth guy. He should have been exempt. I don't know. Whatever.
Behold the might of Stormwind!
Don't know that it really matters. It really doesn't. Stormwind Champion is awesome. You probably heard his audio. Behold the might of Stormwind. I used to put Stormwind Champion in every deck because I love that so much. The cool audio, and he gives all your minions +1/+1. He has no extra minions, but if you've got a board full of them, crank out your Stormwind. And you know, I almost called it. You know, I declared Bone Mare my MVP of last time, and he's going to be again. I currently don't have the damage to win 7, 5 and 2 versus his 10 life, but I do have Bone Mare. So, since Marrow Manipulator already had such a great time killing a tiger that she shouldn't be able to see, He's also going to ride on in there for 9 points. Boom, on horseback. And then we'll finish up Volatile. So knows the Eternal didn't factor in, but it's probably just as well. It wouldn't have been the best for recording if I had to hurry. It would have been novel. It would have been novel. There would have been some value to it, but both you and I, dear viewer / listener, will have to carry on with our lives wondering what could have been. Join me next time to find out what will be.